in, and we are live with another episode of BS Busters. We are joined by someone who hasn't been here for a while, but before we get to his introduction, we're going to let the lady go first. If she can put down her game for a little bit, go ahead, Jewel. Give your intro.
Thanks. Besides, if anything, I got insulted from respawning villains. Lacey and Bugger for all ages. This is Joey. Moonstar, welcome you to the BS Busters, and let's see who's on the chopping block this week. Okay, and we're joined by someone who we have not seen him for a long time, like since last year, really. Go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself.
Guess who's back? It's your friendly neighborhood Triple M here. It's been quite a while. Just decided to jump in and see what's going on.
That's nice. And of course, we have the man who really likes Samus and Nintendo characters, but the dark evil versions of them. Give it up, sir. Kenoshi.
Oh, it's Kenoshi Abominito. Glad to be on another one of these BS Busters.
All right. And of course, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, proprietor, owner. So let's get into BS Busters. But before we do, just give you a brief overview of the topics we'll be covering. Clear my throat. We'll be covering the GameStop money loss of $673 million.
Oh man, I wish there was a lottery.
That's over $500 million. Borderlands 3 announcement and the subsequent uproar. Basically, we're talking about how people are upset that Borderlands 3 is more Borderlands, except for a few new things.
Oh, yeah. And I probably won't get it for full price. Aren't you going to different planets in Borderlands?
Yeah, you're leaving Pandora and going to different planets. I mean, basically what everyone wanted from a sequel, they're getting, and people are like, well, I don't like this because it's... I'm like, I don't know. Like, did you play
Borderlands? I mean, if you don't want more of Borderlands, then what?
Yeah. And the fun
it's like they even alluded at the end that you were going to different planets.
Yeah, and the fun topic of the cast is this. What video game boss made you say, fuck it, and throw down your controller and go do something else for a while? Excuse me.
Good God! To be honest, when I heard the description of Borderlands 3, before I even knew it was Borderlands 3, I thought we were talking about Star Citizen game before Star Citizen. Never mind. That fell flat.
Oh, you mean the whole like bullshit where they yeah,
that game's never coming out.
Well, I mean, it'll probably come out, but it'll probably be years from now.
Yeah.
Hey, I finally got back from eating dinner.
That's okay. And the thing is, like, I really like the sad thing is that I really want Star Citizen to be good because the other games in the series from that guy have been good, but
yes, forgive me, the derail this, but yes, let's get on to Borderlands 3.
Yeah, the other games have been good, but I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do?
Just like,
I mean, like the thing is this, okay? Like you might not like Gearbox and you might not like Randy Pitchford, but they do make. I mean, aside from Aliens, Colonial Marines. Gearbox does make good games, aside from Aliens, Colonial Marines. You know? If you can get past Aliens, Colonial Marines, like Borderlands was good, Borderlands 2 was good. I mean, the next series in the game, if the next game is just as good as Borderlands 2, it'll be good. You know, maybe not the best, but it'll be good. But did anyone have any thoughts on the Borderlands debacle where people were like, I'm angry that this game is more of what we already had except slightly updated with some modern conventions?
Oh, what were you expecting? I mean, I was expecting Borderlands 3 to improve off of Borderlands.
Oh, really? I wanted them to rip off of Splatoon where you go around shooting people, but instead of bullets, it's paintballs.
Yeah, it's
Nice one.
it's just kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't know.
Like, here's the thing, okay? Like, and I know some people, like, I saw a video from Clean Prince Gaming where a guy did a big visual essay talking about how, well, it's like Pokemon, and, you know, you should expect, like, the next Pokemon to be exactly the same. But here's the difference between Borderlands and Pokemon.
I give Borderlands 3 more props for that, because at least it took more years in development. Pokemon, so.
Well, I mean, that's a part of it, but what I was going to say is that Borderlands only has 4, well, at this point, once 3 comes out, 4 games. So you have Borderlands, Borderlands 2, Borderlands the pre-sequel, which feels more like an ultra expansion than a new game, but whatever. And then Borderlands 3. Pokemon has, what, 17 games at this point?
Yeah.
Well, 7 mainline games.
Like, I mean, let's count them. You've got Red and Blue, then Yellow, that's 3. Then you've got Gold and Silver, then Diamond, that's 6.
I was counting I was counting all versions into one game.
No, you got to count them because they're different. Because they're different Pokemon. Certain Pokemon don't show up. They're all different.
And the thing is, I mean, what about Call of Duty? It's been the same. But the Advanced Warfare game. Well, no, the whole jumpsuits just seem like duct tape.
Yeah, let me count these Pokemon though. So that's 6. Then you've got Pokemon. What, Ruby and Sapphire was it?
An Emerald.
Yeah.
Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So that's 9. And then from there you go to Black and White.
And Platinum.
Yeah, Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. So that's 12. Then you go to Black and White.
And Black and White 2.
Black and White 2. So that's 4.
16.
16. Then you get
X and Y.
No. You forgot the remix. The remix had new stuff in them too. Fire Red and Leaf Green. That's 18. Then you've got
Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That's 20.
Okay.
Then you've got then you've got
X and Y.
X and Y. That's 22. Then
Omega
you've got
Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Alpha Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That's 24. Then you've got
Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon, which is 26. Then Ultra Sun and Moon. So that's 28. Okay, 28 games in.
Then we have Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. So that makes 30.
Those don't play exactly like, you know.
Really, Jewel?
Mainline games.
I'm never giving that. I'm never stopping doing that.
Don't bring those games up.
Yeah, those don't play like the mainline games. So my point is this, okay? If someone had been playing all 28 of those Pokemon games for years and years and years, you can understand someone saying, okay, fuck. I'm getting franchise fatigue from this. Okay, I mean, whether it's baseless or not, I'm just saying you can understand someone saying, "Okay, I'm getting burnt out on this formula," whether with the money or not.
Aren't there technically 14 games since each game is sort of a variation of a generation?
Yes,
well, no,
but he said he wants to count all of them.
I did the 2 versions because there are different Pokemon in each version, and in order for you to get the full enjoyment out of each game, you either have to have each version or know someone who does, so that you can do the trades. So in that way, it's like there's enough different shit. Like there's different shit in Pokemon Yellow than there is in Red and Blue. There's different shit in Crystal than there is in Gold and Silver. There's enough different stuff that they're not exactly the same game.
Yeah.
But I mean that was my point. So 28 games in, you can understand someone saying, okay, this is okay. I need a break. I need something different. I need sorbet or a slice of lemon on this heavy buffet of steak and onions and beans. But
definitely have the spin-offs.
Borderlands is like 4 games. I mean, at this point, well, 3 games. I'm like, how are you tired of something that's only had 3 games? Come on the 4th. I mean, that's man, I'm tired.
I wasn't even
3 games.
Yeah, I wasn't even contentious of that. I'm like, okay, when they were doing the reveal trailer back at the what was it? Was it PAX?
GDC.
No, it was a GDC. Okay, when they were doing it live, oh, I can see the complaints. But then when I heard about that, it looks the very same game as the last one. I'm like, really? Someone's actually going to complain that? They could complain about every other franchise that's been out there for the existence of what plus 15 years, or since um since the fourth, or was it the third generation when they got into 3D. So yeah, but then when I actually seen where that complaint came from no other place than Polygon, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I can see where that's coming from.
I don't even like Randy Pitchford, but if he wanted to take his dick out and slap Polygon in the face with it, I'd be like, I can understand. I'm not saying it's right, but I can understand. You know, because I mean it's Polygon, so Polygon is almost as bad as just finding shit to bitch about as Kotaku.
I thought IGN was one.
No, IGN is bad, but Polygon. The only reason Polygon isn't the worst is because sometimes they do serious journalism. Like they'll do an in-depth article about shit that actually is interesting or important to know about in the video game industry. So
then there's Niche Gamer, which is full of angry otakus.
I don't even go to Niche Gamer. Never even heard of it. So
good.
You are lucky, mate.
Not. Look, man. Sometimes you got to cut some things loose. But anyway, so anyone else have anything they want to add to the oh man, Borderlands 3, it's more Borderlands except with a few.
Well, I got.
And what about the whole people crying about Epic Games exclusivity whatnot? Yeah,
it's exclusive for 6 months. So basically it's supposed to come out September. So September, October, November, December, January, February. Literally, like in February, you'll be able to get it on Steam. Like, why are people complaining about that?
People were complaining about Steam having too much power when it came to PC digital downloads, and now people are trying to challenge Steam, and now they're mad about it. It's just kind of
well, people are angry about it because of the method of how they're doing it. It's not that they're doing it; it's how you do it. It's kind of like this, okay? If you have a bully at your school, right, and they're always being a dick, taking your lunch money, right, and you stand up for yourself and you break their nose, right? People are gonna say, "Yeah, fuck that guy," right? But if you stand up for yourself and you fucking break their legs, break their arms, and then drag their bodies near a vending machine and smash it down on them, that's taking it too far, Now it's like that's just kind of being a dick. And whether you like Steam or not, you've never seen Steam say, "Oh, and by the way, this big AAA game, it's exclusive to Steam for the next 6 months." You've never seen that with Steam. They're like, they don't fucking care. As long as it comes out on their storefront, they don't fucking care if it's on other shit too.
Look,
they're already established.
You guys get really offended, buy the game somewhere else, and down. I mean, if you don't want to, just don't give them your credit card information.
There's other games, or you can do what I'm doing. I'm gonna wait. Because here's the thing. There's a huge bunch of games coming out. There's a huge bunch of games that come out every year around the holiday season. Your ass is going to be swamped. And Borderlands is a time sink, okay? That's not the type of game you can just, I'll just play. Because Borderlands is one of those games, I'm just going to play for like 20, 30 minutes. And you wind up spending 4 or 5 hours playing the shit.
I think I wasted practically a whole summer on that game.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just how it is.
I kind of find it ironic to me that back then when Sony and Microsoft was basically doing yeah, basically doing handouts for exclusivity deals for a period of amount of time on their preferred platform.
Yeah.
PC gamers were laughing at us. Well,
Oh, they weren't laughing at you. They were laughing at the gamers who were bragging about that shit.
or heck, they were even laughing about the people that complained because they were like, "Hey, you're still doing console. You should come to PC. Doesn't have any exclusivity deals over here." So,
I mean, it's a shame that console bullshit has come to the PC market. I mean,
it's only a matter of time.
yeah,
it's hilarious because now they're finding out what we.
Well, if you're a Nintendo gamer, yes. Nintendo gamers have been basically just how you have one company trying to fuck people over so that they can get a foothold in the market. That's exactly what Microsoft did. And who used to own Epic? Microsoft.
Well, the thing about there kind of sort of has always been exclusivity stuff on PC. As when you talk about like various chipsets, like graphics cards and processors, because they optimize.
We're talking about gaming. So, I mean, you got to pretty much look at it from a gaming standpoint, not from the hardware, because hardware.
No. What I'm saying is like the optimized games for.
Optimized for AMD, optimized for NVIDIA, and all that shit. Yeah,
kind of get screwed over.
yeah, that is true. But I mean,
the way I'm saying this. Hey, I am not putting down the people that were basically scoffed as us council peasants, because I do feel for the complaint, but at the same time, I'm looking at this. It's free market. What did you expect? Nothing is a bed of roses. I mean, if you guys already experienced it on the console side, you would have known that this was going to happen in just about every market that there is.
Well, it's unbridled capitalism with no controls in place, because that is, like I said, there are people who pre-ordered games that have been pulled from being exclusive, well, not exclusive, but being on Steam. Now they're Epic Game exclusive. So basically, the company took these people's money and then said, "Oh, we're not selling this in this store anymore," which is kind of if we had a stronger consumer protection agency for people.
To be honest, I wouldn't. Here's the thing: I wouldn't even wait. Yeah, I wouldn't even wait for the whole consumer protection thing. Everyone that actually made complaints about this, put your money where your mouth is, and like you said, Red Fox, wait it out. Yeah. It's only 6 months, right?
Or just don't buy the game. Period. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I mean, have we exhausted the Borderlands thing? Have we kicked this horse till it's bleeding and been killed 3 or 4 times? Okay, then. So we can move on.
Yeah, I have kicked this down enough. Now, there's actually it's basically two sides of the same coin here, because you got Epic doing this and Steam having problem on their own thing. Now I'm just sitting back and see, okay, the two problems that these specific platform holders are in. Let's see which one crumbles first.
Well, I mean, the reason Epic can do this is because they're getting cash from Tencent. Because Tencent wants to get into the they want some of the pie that Steam has pretty much had like 85% of. They want a piece of that pie. Personally, I don't think they're going to be able to do it, because Steam is like a mega mart that has, like, even if they don't have a few name brands, they still have so much other shit there that it's just like, I mean, how are you gonna beat the volume? It's like Netflix. It's like people get mad. People who say I only want physical content for shit. It's like, okay, that's cool, but let me ask you a question, okay? I can pay $13 a month to Netflix and have access to tens of thousands of movies and TV shows, multiple seasons for TV shows. Whereas the amount of content that you have, I don't care how much of a cinephile you are, there's no way you have as many movies on your shelves than I can get on Netflix or Hulu.
True enough. True enough.
Like, so when I hear people saying, I'm going physical only and digital, fuck digital, I'm like, okay, you just keep on thinking that while I go watch The Godfather Part 1 on Netflix.
Right, I hear you. And even though I have a similar sentiment, but yeah, I'm not gonna go out and say that I'm stayed physical, but it's not like I'm gonna be it's not like I'm going to have my hands tied down to digital.
Well, I mean that's the case. It's like a case by case basis. Basically, here's what I'm going to say for people who like absolutely have to have physical. I'm going to say something. It's going to hurt your hearts, but you got to hear it now. Physical is going the way of vinyl. All right.
Yeah.
And look, I have a vinyl library, so I feel you. Okay. But here's what's going to happen. Okay. More and more games are going to be digital only or digital first. Okay. And over time, just some companies are just going to stop offering the physical option. You're just going to have to download that shit. Okay. And if you want the physical version, you're either going to have to pay more or there's going to be like a special run or something. And that's just the way it's going to be. And, you know, I mean, I know some people are going to get angry. Oh, no, it's terrible. Look, I feel your pain. I mean, I'm going to turn to Bill Clinton for a second. I'll feel your pain.
Your pain.
I feel it. I feel your pain. But listen here. It's going to an all-digital future or mostly digital. And speaking of companies that are going to be hurt by a mostly digital future, we got to talk about Gamestop. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Nice. That's way. Yeah.
I was wondering what happened to GameStop that these guys are talking about. They just lost nearly $600 million.
I don't know. I mean, GameStop had an opportunity to create like a
keyword
possibly trading deal with, like, you know, making digital products feel a little more physical by being able to
trade them,
relinquish your CD keys or whatnot from Steam or various other places.
Yeah, keyword connotation.
Resell them, but no,
and they said no.
You can't have that.
Yeah, they were like no, and now it's too late. It's too late because you think Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft are gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, we'll throw you a lifeline.
Yeah, and on top of that, that one console manufacturer that could still saved you maybe a decade or more. You screwed them to push for so long that they might probably not looking at you anymore.
I don't think Nintendo would be interested in saving them. Fuck them. They're like, yeah, fuck them.
See, what GameStop did was they bought out all their competition, so they have no competition.
Well, they bought
all their... But what happened when they did that was they rested on their laurels, and look where they're at now.
Well, I mean that, and it basically it's a combination of three things. First of all, they did buy up other competition. They bought up EB Games. They bought up KB Toys. Like basically every place else that you could buy video games that were like little, like, you know, small little stores where you just walk up and get your stuff. They bought them out, right? So basically, you had market saturation, like, because the thing is like what they were thinking was, oh well, it's all part of the same corporation. But the thing is like, if people, like, you know, certain stores perform better than others, and so then they said, okay, well, you have to meet these certain standards. Well, I mean, if it's more convenient, like obviously a GameStop that's in a mall is going to have more business than a GameStop that's in the middle of, you know, a strip mall in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like putting these weird draconian ass sales targets. You got to get these many people to subscribe to our shitty little service for $20 a year or whatever, $50 a year or whatever. I mean,
let's see. That's cutthroat business 101 right on the spot.
Well, I mean, it's not really going to work, and it's like you're like you have the same businesses biting out of the same pie, because the thing is that GameStop's business model isn't a franchise. It's a like if it was a franchise, it would make sense to have the different stores compete against each other, because GameStop would just be, we're selling you the brand name and like giving you access to like our warehouses where we have these games, but ultimately, like, as long as you give us our cut of money, we're good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. It's like they're all part of this huge corporation, they're literally biting, all these stores are biting out of the same pie. So it's
Red
like
Ocean.
Yeah, they're all going after the same audience, an increasingly shrinking audience, because like a lot of people get their games through Amazon, or they go to Walmart or Target.
And the trade-in deals on Amazon are a lot better.
I wouldn't know about that. What I will say is that I've been into GameStop with a friend of mine who was like, "Yeah, I'm trading in all this shit," and he was thinking he was going to get all this money. And he traded in he traded in an Xbox 360 and like 30 games, and like 15 of them were like good. 15 of them were good, high quality games. And this guy takes care of his console, and he had one of those special Xbox 360s, the R2D2 one that like sounded like R2D2 when you turn it on. He was trading that shit in to get an Xbox One because he's one of those Xbox live or die motherfuckers. So, so he goes in.
No. I have to I have to correct that, because if he is a diehard Xbox fan, then he wouldn't actually go and pawn his 360 for an Xbox One. He would have kept it.
Well, no, he did, because he has two other 360s. And this one, like, he has two of those R2D2 ones. This is one that red ringed on him. So he was trading that in. And the games that he was trading in, like, he basically, like, you know how they had that thing where you could like dual buy a lot of those games on the 360 digitally? Well, he did that. So I mean, he's like, what was the fucking point? So anyway, he's trading in some shit. He's like, man, I'm gonna get all this money. I was in the car, I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get like $250. And I was like sitting there like, no, you ain't.
I'm trying to not laugh because
it's Xbox. It's not Nintendo. And this is GameStop.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if he got under $20 for that.
No, he got 80.
And I should also mention how they'll force people to sign into their
shitty ass programs.
Their program without their consent.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
they did it to me before.
So he gets there and he got like $80. Okay. He got $80. He was expecting to get $250 because he only brought enough money to cover the rest of the Xbox One. So I had to float him the extra money so he get his Xbox One.
Right.
And he was so angry that he only got $80. like I thought he was gonna jump over the kiosk. Jump over the desk and punch this guy in the face. Like I should have caught it on. I should have pulled out my smartphone and got
Well, he at least didn't act like. At least he didn't act like the File 76 idiot.
Yeah.
Told the
GameStop. You, man. You should have known Bethesda's game was going to be shit. That's on your ass. That's on you, bro.
Oh, Jewel stole that joke from me.
but yeah.
I'm sorry.
So yeah. But my point is this: like, GameStop gives you shitty trade-in prices. They give you like bottom drawer trade-in prices, and then they mark up their used games. Like, their used games are only slightly cheaper than the new one, so you might as well get the new one. Because I've been to GameStop. Like, I don't really go to GameStop like I used to, like, for me personally. But I have a girlfriend who for some reason likes to buy games from GameStop, so occasionally I'll go and pick up stuff for her. But like, I'll go in there and I'm like looking at the prices while I'm waiting to get waited on, and like I'm like, oh, this used version of this game, like the game just came out and the game's like $60 or $59.99. The used game is like $54.99. I'm like, how the fuck is that a used game price? Like, seriously, like
that
54.
Yeah, about
Well,
5 or from the full price.
That's I mean, because the thing is, like, you can go to places that have like holiday discounts on like $60 games, where you reach prices like that, where they're like, yeah, this game used to be $60, now it's 55, 54, whatever, like 53. I mean, that's not a discount. You know what I mean? A discount for a $60 game is, hey, this game's $40. Normally it's 60, now it's $39.99. Oh, I think I'll get that game.
If it's under 5%, it's not a discount.
But anyway, yeah. But GameStop lost $673 million, and their plan to get out of this. Their plan to get out of this
nosedive.
It's not a nosedive. How can I put this nicely?
Free fall?
No, not a free fall.
Bankruptcy?
It's not bankruptcy. They haven't declared bankruptcy yet. How can I put this nicely? Their plan to get out of this big pile of Triceratops shit is
Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, their plan to get out of this big pile of Triceratops shit is they got the guy who turned around Best Buy and AutoZone. Now, here's the problem with them getting the guy who turned around Best Buy and AutoZone. Okay? See, here's the thing. If you go to a Best Buy, yes, Best Buy sells video games too, and DVDs and Blu-rays and shit like that. But they also sell like hardware, like TVs and shit like that. And while you can buy TVs and monitors and computer supplies and electronic supplies over the internet, some of that shit, especially if you're doing shit yourself, you want to go and look at the product yourself, you know, so you can size it up and see, well, is this going to fit my rig? Is this going to fit my setup? You know, how's this going to look in my house? Like, these are things where it helps to have a physical store. GameStop's main thing is selling games. A lot of games you can get digitally. Like, literally, when the vast majority of your product is also available in other avenues of consumption, having a guy who turns around physical places is not a smart move. And his answer is, oh, well, we need more services. So for those of you who
thought, they might as well let EA bought them.
Well, now they're gonna have more shit and more, like, you thought GameStop's power up, level up rewards shit was bullshit. Now you're gonna get more shit they're gonna try and charge you for, and then sign you up for and shit like that. Like, GameStop is just, they are not in good shape. And I did a video earlier, released it yesterday, talking about how, you know, some ways GameStop could turn themselves around. I forgot one that just occurred to me today. Well, after I recorded the video, so yesterday. Franchise. If GameStop just basically sold off a lot of their stuff and just became a brand that sold, like, you know, so basically the GameStops will become franchises. So, you know, like the manager, whoever owned it would own it, and then, you know, they'd have to give a cut to the people who hold the brand name. But GameStop's brand is so shitty, I don't even think that would work. You know?
Didn't they have a plan some time back that they were gonna make their own
digital distribution platform?
I was about to say gaming studio, as a developer studio.
They bought like 2 or 3 developers, like small tier developers, and like, we're gonna make our own games, and like they released like 2 or 3 games, and they were all shit. So they bought Congregate. You guys know Congregate, the online video game hub? Yeah, they bought Congregate.
Yes.
Oh, they were the one who bought that.
I think you also forgot something. Game Informer.
What, GameStop bought Game Informer? I did not know that. I didn't know that.
I thought they were a distributor for Game Informer.
No, they bought Game Informer apparently. So.
Yeah, and considering that Game Informer and GameStop are nearly about one of the same, I That's the reason why I try to not get their subscription.
Well, I mean, I don't get most video game magazine subscriptions these days just because.
Information is already in your face. Just look at YouTube.
Well, not just that. I mean, you can get most of this information on the internet.
I was about to say.
You know, why should I get a? I mean, I hate this. I mean, I know some people are going to get angry when I say this, but why should I get a? Why should I spend? You know, I mean, this happened to Prima Games. Why should I spend $30, $40, $60 on a player guide? You know, a special when I can get all that information for free on the internet with a community created FAQ.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people are going to get mad. Well, poor Prima, but I mean that's just basic business sense. Like, why would I spend money for something that I can get for free?
Yeah.
I mean, who thought that was a smart idea? I'm sorry. I know some people get angry, but I like Prima Game. Listen, it's not my job to worry about how they get paid. I'm the consumer. I'm trying. Look, there's a delicate balance between consumers and the people who make the shit. My job is I don't care about, you know, whether or not they turn a profit. My job is to make sure that I get as much value for my money as humanly possible. Not to worry about, well, can we pay so-and-so? Not my problem.
Yeah, I mean,
to quote Reggie, not my problem.
I admire your warriorism, but are you an investor? No. Okay.
Yeah.
I could answering that question about why would you buy a magazine or a player's guide. I guess the only reason is if you're a collector.
Well, I mean,
that kind of stuff.
There are some games where it helps to have the player guide. Like, for example, I said in an earlier podcast, I think it was a week and a half ago, that, you know, I love Bait and Katos. Bait and Katos is a game where if you don't have the gamer's guide with like all the extra stuff, you'll miss entire side quests. And if you're someone who likes to extract as much content value from an RPG as humanly possible, like me, you don't want to miss, you know, extra badass side quests that can gift you with all types of cool shit. You don't want to do that. So you kind of need the side quest main, or, you know, Xenosaga. That's a game that kind of you need the gamer guide because all the little side tidbit quests and shit. But I mean, for most games, I mean, like, why should I spend $40 on a game guide when I can get that same information off of GameFAQs or some other site for free? Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah. Unless it was something that is that comes with the game or it's in limited quantities, that is it.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't understand that shit. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. But
what's not to understand? It's feelings, man.
My feelings. But yeah, GameStop lost a lot of money. And I mean, like I said, I feel sorry for the people who work there. Well, actually, I mean, I feel sorry for anyone who would work at GameStop because that's a shitty job.
That's a raw deal.
I mean, because basically you have irate customers and then you have the people on top making you do shit. That's kind of shitty. Because I mean, like I said, I don't really buy things at GameStop. Like when I buy games, I either go through Amazon or I get them digitally, or heaven forbid I go through Walmart. Even though I fucking hate Walmart, but like I don't do GameStop. But when I go to pick up stuff for my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna pick this up. And every time I go there, I'm like, I'm getting an amiibo or something. For fucking God's sake! Hey, you want the Power Rewards thing? You want this? No, I don't. Like one day I snapped. I was like, man, look, listen, okay. If I wanted to join your little fucking club or have your service, I would specifically come in and say, hey, man, I want to join your power. I don't. Okay, I don't shop here enough to make it worth the amount of money I would spend to have it in order to make up for how much I'm saving. It doesn't.
The value doesn't add up.
I've heard stories about that.
Yeah, I don't. On a side note, Walmart's the place you go to pretend you're getting a deal.
Yeah, Walmart doesn't really have deals. They're like, yeah, we have a deal. Like, there's some things like, okay, if you're getting like a car washer, windshield wiper fluid, or like oil, Walmart is a pretty nice place to get a deal. But if you're getting like food or video games or electronics, Walmart is not a good place to get a deal because you're literally you're not getting a deal. You're getting bent over.
I was gonna say, and your car gamers, that's definitely not a deal because some of those are pretty priced up.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get card games on a deal, my advice is to go to Overstock.com or warehouse.com, like places like that where they have people who like order too much of something or they couldn't move it where they were and now they're just trying to get rid of it and then it gets marked down. So then you can get your hands on it. Or my personal favorite, go to a mom and pop. You're going to spend the same amount or a little bit less if you go to a GameStop. But guess what? Mom and pop gaming stores, you don't have someone trying to fuck you over. And they'll let you know if a game is bad. They'll tell you, yeah, this game's bad. I don't know. You sure you don't want to try something else?
Yeah,
Wow.
because there's something called human quality service.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. A brick and mortar store that actually has facts behind them. In this day and age, it's a gold mine.
Well, the mom and pop that I go to get a lot of my games that I don't like, it's a retro gaming store, so it doesn't like it's not Amazon or anything. It's like because I don't get those from Amazon because there's a huge markup a lot of the time. But for like retro games, like more difficult to get my hands on stuff because the guy knows people who can get stuff for you. But I went there and like they have a newer game section too. And he has display versions where the real game's out there, and he'll rent you the game. $20 will rent the game to you for a week, so you can try it before you buy it.
Are you bleeding kidding me?
Yes.
You can rent games in this day and age?
Oh God! I bought a game for my Switch, played it for a week, said I don't like this game.
Isn't that what GameFly exists for? Renting games?
What?
GameFly.
Is GameFly still around? I thought it was dead.
Yeah, it's still around. They're still showing commercials of it.
Yeah, I don't really like GameFly that much. But anyway, this mom and pop, they let you can go up there and ask them questions. And I was like, yeah, man, I want to try that Labyrinth of Refrain game. I was like, sure. And he said, here's $20. You can try it out for a week. If you don't like it, bring it back, and whatever.
Give your money back.
No, they didn't do that. But I played it for a week. I was like, this game's nice, but I'd rather play it on PC because it's one of those games that has stats and units, and I'd rather play it on PC where I can download a trainer and cheat my ass off, give myself a lot of money, and buy everything.
You ain't no gamer. Nah, just kidding.
I'm a cheating bastard. Well, I mean, look, there's some games where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try really hard. And then other games where I'm like even now, I'm at the point now that even when I play Chrono Trigger, I'm like, yeah, if I'm going to start from scratch, I'm going to play this on PC where I can cheat and give myself all the gold so I can buy a lot of tonics. Because I don't feel like grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. Not in a game where I have my original Chrono Trigger where I've beaten the main story like over 50 times. I don't want to put that amount of time into building up my characters all over again. So I'll cheat.
I'm a bit different.
Well, the thing is, you just get to a point where it's like, I don't have anything to prove. Whatever.
Because I've done it the hard way, and now I'm going to do it the easy way. That's just how it is. And plus it's nice being able to go and buy really high-powered weapons early on in the game. Fight a boss that gave you trouble before, then you kick their ass. It's like, yeah, dude's still talking shit. I'm like, why are you still talking shit? I just kicked your ass. Oh, that's the script of the game. That's But anyway, yeah. GameStop is. I mean, basically, they built their business off of a old ass business model that is increasingly becoming obsolete. They have total market saturation, too many locations in certain areas. These fucking draconian targets on their employees. They treat their employees like shit. Like, I've never been to a GameStop where you see the same people working there year over year over year. It's constantly a revolving door. You see a business where, like, you don't see people who are there continuously. It's always different people every time.
Roll out.
That is not a well-run business. Yeah, that is not a well-run business. Because if employees are happy someplace, they're there, not forever, but there's like a constant presence of certain people who are there all the time. You always see new people there. That's not a good, well-run business. Because it means they're not happy.
Yeah.
And I know some people are going to say, but seriously. Go to
I was going to say that it depends on your location. So, if anything, my location is mixed at best.
Well, I mean, like I said, some GameStops. Here's the thing: I've never been to a good GameStop, but some GameStops I heard are good. I haven't.
Yeah.
Like, the reason I don't like going to GameStop is because every time when I was younger and a kid, and I would go there, I would basically see how they would fuck over their customers with like asking, "Hey, you want to pre-order this game?" Like, no, I don't. You see me here. Like, the last time I bought a game from GameStop was Link Between Worlds, okay? And I went in there and I had Link Between Worlds in my hands, and they asked me if I wanted to fucking pre-order Call of Duty.
I hate when they do that.
Here's the thing, okay? Listen, I'm not putting any stereotypes on gamers, but I mean, typically speaking, most people who like The Legend of Zelda don't seem to be the same Venn diagram of people who like Call of Duty. Like, I think the sample size of people who fit both groups is very small, and I don't think I'm one of them. So why the fuck would you ask me if I want to pre-order a game? Don't you think I would go up and say I want to pre-order a game? Which is a matter of fact,
especially
World, I did pre-order that game. From there.
I was gonna say that if they're trying to make you pre-order a game from something that you do not own or don't want to own, then they have some terrible customer focus.
Well, because they have to get their numbers up. They have to get a certain amount of pre-orders. They have to get a certain number of memberships. They have to get a certain number of. They have to sell a certain number of pre-owned games. They were like, "Hey, this game's $60, but if you get the pre-owned version, it's like $53." And I'm like, I want the new one. And look, I've bought new games from GameStop in the past, and like, I wanted it to be unopened. I mean,
And yet they did that stuff.
And they would hand me some shit that was open. I remember I got my Link amiibo from GameStop. Brand new, supposed to be unopened. It was fucking stapled shut where someone had opened it and used it and then erased the data so that it would be practically new. I'm like, these motherfuckers.
Yep. Yeah, and they charged you full price for it, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Because they're fucking GameStop. But they did give me a free Game Informer subscription for a year, so I guess that was the makeup for the fact that they fucked me. Like, that's like someone raping you and then saying, "Well, here's $20."
Don't mention this to anyone.
Yeah, look, man, it wasn't rape. I was just. We were just helping each other out. It's like, my ass is bleeding, so I don't think you were helping me out at all, sir.
Shh, I'll give you hush money, man.
So yeah, fuck that shit. I'm sorry. Fuck them. I'm done. Fuck them.
I've got a set of amiibos pre-ordered from GameStop.
Yeah, you have fun with that. I vowed out of the GameStop race. Like, if I have to get amiibos from now on, I'm just gonna go online. Like, I'll either do eBay or Amazon. Even if it's GameStop exclusive, I'll get an upcharge on Amazon because fuck GameStop. I'm done. I'm done.
So once those amiibos arrive, once I get those amiibos, I'll probably pre-order some new ones somewhere else, like Best Buy or Target.
Whatever works for you.
For me, the only things I buy from GameStop nowadays are trading cards and maybe a game shopping card.
And you don't have a hobbyist place near you for
I don't have
game trading cards?
I don't have a local game store or a card store.
I was talking to Jewel.
I usually it's hard. I have a hard time finding one, and one recently closed nearby me.
That's a shame. Yeah, that sucks. Because we have a like basically like there's 3 places where I live that basically do like gaming hobbying type stuff. Flashback Comics, and then there's a place closer to me called something, forgot the name of it, but it's like this huge nerd repository. You can do trade-ins there. You can do it's got a retro section with old shit.
Wow.
It's got comics, it's got playing cards, it's got old ass books that you can get on cheap. You can get like old like hardbacks for like three like $4. I mean, it's got new shit, it's got old shit. I mean, it's like for someone who's a bibliophile like myself, it's where I got my new record player. It's got records. Oh my god, it's the holy land for people like myself.
I was gonna say that I think the reason why is because most of the card shops that are around here, they're trying to get off the Wizard of the Coast bandwagon of sorts.
Off the Wizard of the Coast bandwagon because Wizard of the Coast fucked them over.
Yeah, because Wizards of the Coast is giving more love to the big name game shops than them.
Mom and pops. Well, that's a shame. Well, I mean, Marvel and DC are doing the same thing with their comics. Like they're giving more of a precedent to the larger comic book stores than the mom and pops that built them. Because the mom and pops are still making money because the mom and pops they know their customer base and they can appeal to them. Like you can go into a mom and pop and you say, look, I'm looking for this character, but I want an earlier run that kind of, explains more about the character's backstory, and they can find it for you. Like big stores, like they don't have people who are trained in that shit. They have those fake ass nerds in big stores.
That is so backwards.
What, the fake ass nerds? No, I mean, look, listen, people.
I meant the business that Marvel and DC are.
What, screwing over? Well, I mean, they're also changing stories to appeal to a broader audience, but they do it at the expense of shitting on pre-established characters. Kind of like they did with that new movie, Captain Marvel.
Please not remind me about that.
Yeah, it's like, what happened to Marvel? Fuck Marvel. What? and the totally not lesbian Carol Danvers, but who totally, I mean, come on. Who are we kidding?
They were definitely pushing for that.
But anyway, so I think anyone have anything else they want to add to the games? Is GameStop screwed?
Nope.
Topic? Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty much screwed.
Okay, then. So
I'm just waiting to see what they do next.
We're on to the final topic, which is what video game boss made you say "fuck it" and throw down your controller. And in honor of Yoshi, you play Borderlands 2 right now. I'm gonna name one from Borderlands 2. Son of Cromrax. Fuck that boss.
I think going through the last part of Borderlands 2 with all the robots, that was pretty annoying.
I mean, once you get a good enough weapon in Borderlands, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I wasn't leveled up high enough to get through that.
Well, what class were you using?
I was using the Siren at the time.
See, that's where you messed up, man. The Siren is not good for a solo run. The best character for the solo run for Borderlands 1 is Roland, and for Borderlands 2, it's the Commando, because that turret basically, like once you upgrade it, like especially with nukes and missiles, it basically can take out so many enemies. Plus, it can heal you and restore your ammo. It's like a cheat move.
Yeah. I got it to the point now where pretty much anything I do, I just regenerate shield and health. So
yeah. Anyway, so who wants to go first? Aside from myself with my comrade.
I'll go.
That guy.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
That skeleton bird boss from Super Castlevania 4.
Oh yeah. The Wall Master. Those three bosses are called the Three Fiends, and that first one is a motherfucker. I know exactly who you're talking about. Because it's not easy to get up there, because you got that saw chasing your ass, and you got to, like Simon with that shitty kind of march walk thing going on. So you're going up these steps, and each step is going down, and this blade's coming after your ass. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
You gotta barely make these jumps on these floating platforms that are going diagonal. It's some fucked up shit, man. And then you gotta fight this.
It's a good thing that it's a good thing that even if you get a game over, you don't go back to climbing up the stairs all over again.
No, but you lose your power-ups, and you start out with the shittiest, weakest whip, which makes it even harder to take him out.
Well, that makes it more challenging.
Actually, no. He's actually not that hard until you break his little staff, and then he starts diving at you, and his hits take off like 6 bars of health. So after 3 or 4 hits, you're dead. Fuck that guy.
And I was trying to avoid it because he has some kind of hitbox that you take damage no matter how far away you are from him. You have to be further away to a point where he doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, secretly, in order to beat him, because basically when he falls down from the ceiling, he's still stoned, so he's immune to your hits. In order to beat him, you have to basically hit him. He jumps up into the ceiling. Then you got to move to the other side so that when he comes down, while he's still stoned, he's far enough away that he'll try and dive at you. You have to jump on one of those raised platforms, jump over him when he slides under you, and go to the other side. You have to keep on moving so that once he becomes invulnerable, you can hit him, he'll jump up back up. Feeling and just keep on repeating that. But he's the hardest one. Death is a cakewalk compared to him.
Joke?
Yeah, he's a joke. It's like, yeah, I'll just stand in the corner, throw my batarang, the glaive. It's called the glaive, but really it's the cross. You throw that shit at him, hit him a few times, he's done.
Wait, what? I remember that game. What was that game called? The game it's called
Super Castlevania 4.
Yeah, Super Castlevania 4. Yeah.
Oh, there was another game that had it was a pretty crappy game. Came out then, where the weapon was called the glaive.
You mean Rygar?
Not Rygar. It was on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah, that was Rygar.
Oh, was that a mod?
It was that shitty remake of Rygar that was in 3D, where you have this boomerang shield that's also a bladed boomerang shield.
Oh, okay, that's what it. Okay.
Yeah.
This Rygar.
The blade shield, yeah.
Remember, yeah. It's also an old game called Rygar that.
Yeah. It was originally an arcade game, and then they made a NES port that was like a adventure RPG type thing, an action adventure RPG, and which is actually pretty good. And then they did that shitty remake that was kind of like, what? Why would you do that? So what other boss you guys are like, fuck this boss?
I had to walk away from this boss for a few months before I finally got rid of him, and that's the whole of the Red Mage Asterisk and Bravely Default.
Oh yeah, fuck that. Like, well, which version? Which version? The third time you fought her? Or the first?
I said the holder of the red asterisk and Bravely Default the first time
well,
because
you have to fight her multiple times at the end because, like, basically every time you reset the world, you have to fight all those dudes all over again.
It was my first run.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and this is when I was trying to get all the asterisks before going on to the next part of the story. So that pain in the rear end.
Did you grind enough?
I'll bet she did.
I was trying to be on the level, so that was a little tricky.
Yeah, that's where you made a mistake. Yeah. With RPGs, the real hard. I mean, I shouldn't say this because I was going to bring up an example that is an RPG, but you can't really grind in this RPG. Like if you do, you reach a certain point where fights just stop giving you XP and you can't move on. But Bravely Default really encourages you to grind. Just grind. If the enemy's giving you too much trouble, just grind your ass off. It even has that encounter meter that you can put up to a high level and then just grind your ass off, getting experience in JP and JT to level up your job.
Yeah, that's the funny part. I kept that 0 for mostly all the entire run.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I got to put that on you with that. That's on you.
I know, but if anything, that was probably one of the times that I tried to be on the fair side with the bosses, and well, it bit me in the rear end. I admit that at least.
All right.
There is no leveling playing field.
Yeah, with RPGs, the whole point is to get powerful enough to kick the boss's asses. That's the whole point. No more, no less, kicking ass. Who wants to go next? Before I add another example.
Yeah, it took me a while to actually remember which boss I had that much of a hard time with. Looking for my collection, then I see my King of Fighters Orochi Saga collection for the GameCube, and I'm like, oh yes, there's that one particular character that if you're an SNK fan, you know which fighter I'm talking about.
Oh god, boo.
And not to be no, I'm gonna call myself a scrub because at the time that it was quite a while since I've played a King of Fighters game, so I was pretty hyped that I've reached all the way to Regal, only to get my face kicked in so hard, far out that man, made me question my skills.
Well, I mean, he is. I mean, but this was still part of that age where you had bosses in video games who were just like mainline bosses who were just cheap. Just fucking cheap bastards.
And I thought, I was like, the first time I fought him, I was like, compared to Bison, oh no, Regal is really, he would basically rape you if he has the chance, and he would get that chance. And on top of that, for me, calling myself a scrub, I even went to the options menu, put the difficulty setting on the lowest possible, which is level 1, and still got my teeth kicked in.
Well, speaking of fighting bosses who were cheap, anyone here ever played Killer Instinct?
Idol!
Anyone here remember Idol?
Yes.
I was railing from that. Seriously, you character, I got scrubbed.
I remember playing Killer Instinct and fighting Idol, and like literally, I still have flashbacks when I'm playing that game to where hearing the sounds his hits made when he would break my combo and beat the shit out of my character, taking off 60-70% of my health. And then at the end of it, like even if he did some damage to you, he would do this thing where he'd stomp the ground with his back hoof and refill his health.
That made me rage so hard. I mean, come on, you are effer.
I mean, to be fair, he did have cool boss music, so it's like you're getting your ass kicked, but the music kind of cool, so I can't get too mad. I mean, I'm mad, but I'm not too mad.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of the most annoying a-hole of gaming on the NES.
The thing about Idol was that he had a total block. Like, you know how normally in fighting games, upper block, lower block? Idol had a total block. So even if you hit him low, it still counted as his block. Like, all he had to do was just hold back. So, like, but I figured out a way to beat the game. You see, there was a character in that game called Glacius. His light forward punch is this rapid punch thing, and basically you could get, like, Idol wouldn't defend against it, so you could basically just rapidly punch him, knock him out, and then set him up for a combo with Glacius. So that's why Glacius is like my favorite character in Killer Instinct, because he made it so much easier to take out Idol. I figured out a character that I could use to break the game, and that's why, folks, I always try to break my games. But yeah, I have another character who was just a toot bastard in video gaming. Lord Belch from Earthbound. The first time you face him, he's relatively easy because you have a character in your party who knows freeze, and freeze does massive damage to him. He has no defense against it. It's his weakness. Second time you face him, he has no elemental weaknesses, and the only weakness that he has is that he likes to eat zombie honey. So basically, there's no fly honey. So basically, you have to go and get fly honey, and you have to have it with you in the fight and give it to him. It doesn't do any damage, but you get 3 or 4 turns while he's eating the fly honey to just wail on him with your strongest attacks. But he's still got a huge amount of health, and he hits hard. And at this point, you only have 3 party members. You've got you, Julia, and Jeff. And Jeff is great, but at this point, his stats aren't high enough to have really powerful weapons that he's made. So, like, he's just there as an extra body to do damage. And Julia, Belch is completely immune to psi attacks, so her special attacks aren't doing shit. So you just got to spam Ness's special psi ability that you get early on in the game, which is neutral and does massive damage, and just hit them with, base attack. So it's a tough fight. I've had moments where I was like, F this game while playing it, but yeah. Anyone have anything else?
The horse it rode in on.
What?
I said F this game and the horse it rode in on.
Yeah. This game, fuck this game. And fuck the character.
I would say the entirety of the original Devil May Cry 3 before they came out with the special edition.
To fix it, yeah.
You had to start the mission all over again. Some of those missions took like 20, 30 minutes to get through.
I would say God Hand, even though that game has a really good aesthetic, but especially the combat system for some of the bosses, they're so cheap, and how you do special attacks is so random. It's just not fun.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
What is that game supposed to be about anyway? I remember seeing an X-Play review on it. I was like, what the
God
hell?
Hand? Well, it's about this guy who essentially, basically this god is killed, and there's only 2 parts of his body left, his right hand and his left hand. Your character gets the left hand, or the right hand, like one of the arms, right, of this god. And your brother gets the other arm, but you don't know it, and your brother turns evil. And so basically you fight your way through all these enemies, all the way to this boss who turns out to be your brother. Fight your brother with the god hand. It's a Clover game when Clover was run by Hideki Kamiya, and Hideki. Look, it's Clover with Hideki Kamiya as the head, so it's some weird fucked up.
Yeah, just some crazy stuff.
Wasn't it supposed to be like comedic or something?
Yeah, it's a big joke because basically your special moves were done on a roulette wheel. right? So some of them, like you'd put them in your roster, but you had to get the roulette reel had to land a certain way in order for you to pull them off. So some of your special moves were like arm locks that looked like you were raping the bad guys, and they were all dudes, so it looked like you were raping them rectally. Like, yeah, it was just a very, very kind of weird, fucked up game. I mean, I like it, but it was weird and fucked up. Because it's a Clover game. Like Clover is one of those, like, that's why I give Platinum so much credit, because they make really quality games, but they're always going to be kind of weird. Like how Isin in Okami, like when you first meet him, he's in the fairy Sakuya's kimono in her bust, establishing that Ethan is a perv. Because what is a little tiny flea man gonna do with a woman that size? Except look at it.
Oh, I'd pretty much guess some stuff, but it's not going to be very pretty.
Nothing really you can do, really. It'd be like throwing a toothpick. Be like throwing a toothpick into the Pacific Ocean. Nothing you can do. I mean, shit.
I was going to say,
imagination.
Only enjoy the view.
Basically, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So anyone have any other games where they were just like, you know what? This game, fuck this game. Fuck this boss and fuck this game.
Probably the end game boss, various end game bosses in the Kingdom Hearts games, such as Vanitas, Zenith,
Sephiroth.
Especially Sephiroth.
Yeah, people are always like Sephiroth. I'm like, I don't really. Oh,
Sephiroth was easy.
Boss that was like, fuck this.
It was the Ruby weapon for me.
I got another RPG boss that was like, fuck this boss. In an RPG. The Atma Sentinel weapon in Final Fantasy VI, and the Atma Sentinel robot in Final Fantasy V. Basically, anything that said Atma in Final Fantasies 4, 5, or 6, fuck those weapons. They're fuck them. Fuck them. They could wipe your party out in one turn. Even if you hit them as hard as you could, they could wipe you out. Even if you were high level, like 80, 90, 99, wipe you the fuck out.
Fudge.
Yeah.
I already know that some bosses were dangerous, but come on.
Yeah, they loved to do that in Final Fantasy back in the day. I don't know if they still do it now, but back in the day, they loved to have bosses where you're like, you think you're bad, and then you run into something that looks kind of unassuming. I'm gonna kick your ass, and then like you're high level, you're like 80, 90s, 99. You hit this boss as hard as you can, and then you're like, okay, I think I fucked up because I just hit this dude and I'm doing thousands of points of damage. I have a character who I just use X Fight, who's dual wielding 2 really powerful weapons. I just did massive critical hits on this motherfucker. He's still standing. I just fucked up because this dude's gonna kill me, and then wipes out your party, and you have to restart from your save, and then hope you don't run into that character again. And if you do, you run away and hope that you live. Fantasy when Hironobu Sakaguchi ran it. Not the one thing that I don't think was cool back in the day. But anything else before we wrap things up? Because we might end early. Anyone have any topics they want to bring up?
Oh yes, the Nintendo curse has once again claimed another victim.
Who?
Boogie 2988.
Wait, a YouTuber? Boogie?
He's still alive. I mean, what?
Oh, because the Nintendo curse only applies to those who badmouth Nintendo in the past. Only for bad things that happen to them later on in their careers.
Okay, so what happened?
Basically, he is caught committing tax fraud.
Oosh.
Are you serious?
Yep, he accidentally admitted it in one of his Twitch streams.
Oh my god.
He was caught defrauding the federal government.
Who are you talking about?
Boogie 2988.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done? He's doomed?
The Francis guy.
He's done? He's dead? He's doomed?
No, he was caught doing tax fraud. I don't think Nintendo had anything to do with that. I just think that
the Nintendo curse involves that anyone who badmouths at Nintendo, bad things happen to him or her later on in their career.
Not,
you know, I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot of stuff that.
That's kind of a joke.
We have an article
kind of a meme
about it at Video Game Facts.
It's kind of a meme. I don't think you should take that 100% serious.
No, I mean, typically speaking, the Nintendo curse normally happens to companies who fuck over Nintendo with
BS moves or
business dealings is what that means. Like how basically Square Enix fucked over Nintendo, and then like basically they not only did they take Final Fantasy VII from the Nintendo 64, they put it on the PlayStation 1, which was their right, but then they went across the street because Enix's headquarters was across the street from theirs, and had Enix pull all their projects from the N64 and put it on the PlayStation. So basically turning the N64 into an RPG desert, because Sony wanted the PS1 to sell really well in Japan, and the big genre in Japan at that time were RPGs. So that's some shady shit right there. And then, years later, having to do that thing where they had to beg for licensing so that they could put their old ass fucking SNES remakes on the Game Boy Advance so they could make money after their bad business deals with Sony fucked them over. So that's the Nintendo curse. I don't think Boogie 998 lying on his taxes counts as
the Nintendo curse.
He's not a game. He's not a game developer or anything. He's just a commentator on various different topics.
Yeah, that's not the Nintendo curse. That's just a guy who just desperately, like a lot of people, he lied about his taxes. A lot of people do that. You shouldn't, but they do. I mean,
or to be stupid enough to actually admit it live on the stream.
Well, they probably already caught that shit. Plus, they changed the tax code, so they're going after people anyway.
Yeah, pretty darn much.
They actually changed the tax code.
Yeah, they changed the tax code. So if you're a millionaire, you're fine. But if you aren't a millionaire, you're fucked.
You don't have the right connection.
Yeah,
like various different industries gets tax cuts, like the NFL.
Amazon made billions of dollars in profit, and they're paying zero taxes on it. But if you're a middle class family that makes over $100,000 a year, you might owe more money to the federal government. But Amazon needs the tax breaks. But,
for some reason.
But anyway,
if I work for Amazon, will I get a tax break? Probably not.
No. But anyway, basically, I don't think the Nintendo curse hit Boogie 998. I think that was just basically just him, maybe. I mean, worst case scenario, lying on his taxes. Best case scenario, maybe misfiled something. It happens. I mean, the dude did go through a divorce.
Doing your taxes is pretty complicated. So if you're doing it yourself,
not really. Your taxes aren't complicated if you don't have your money divided up in a lot of different things. But this guy makes most of his money from YouTube, which means
if you don't have a lot of assets or anything like that, it's pretty simple.
No, I mean it depends on how you produce your income. Like with Boogie 998, he does like sponsorships and YouTube money and whatever else he does. So like that's like 3 different incomes he's probably got to juggle. Plus he got a divorce last year, which means he changes a tax bracket. Like there's a lot of shit going on with him that normal people probably don't have to go through. So
basically how he he explained how he committed tax fraud by manipulating the sales of Magic the Gathering cards so he could keep more of the money and not pay income taxes.
Yeah, that's
Dude.
I mean, I don't really feel that bad about it personally. I don't really. To be honest, I don't really care that much. I mean, listen. Is it okay? No, but I mean, what are you gonna do? You know.
Yeah, he got himself in that mess.
Yeah.
Might as well take the responsibility. Again.
You know, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but you know, whatever.
Anything else, Pinky?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, Nintendo has been ranked number 9 in the top 10 reputable companies in the U.S. as of 2019.
Wait, could you say that again?
Nintendo is ranked number 9 for most reputable company in the U.S. as of 2019.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
if I think about it, they're the top gaming company on that list.
I think they're the only gaming company on that list. Coincidence?
We laugh, but
I mean, on the top 10, because I don't see Sony on there. Wait, let me look at it. Let me look at this list because I don't want to. It's top 100. So okay. Basically, in the top 10, there's Netflix. Okay, I can understand Netflix being number 1. Number 2 is Hershey. Yeah, you don't ever hear shit about Hershey and their chocolate. Whirlpool. I guess they make dishwashers and shit. Rolex.
Yeah,
they're still around. I thought they were. I don't see commercials for them like I used to.
must be so good that they don't get commercials.
Yeah, McCormick and Company. They're the people who make spices. Barnes and Noble.
The bookstore.
Hasbro. Fuck, Hasbro's on here?
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Costco Wholesale. Okay, I can understand
I was going to say, Hasbro is a company that I think is currently working with Magic the Gathering.
What, Hasbro? Yeah, they probably. I think they bought it. Didn't they buy Wizards of the Coast? Didn't Hasbro buy Wizards of the Coast? I know they bought Power Rangers.
Yeah.
From Namco.
Yeah.
Or Bamco.
Yeah, I was remembering that Hasbro is linked to Wizard of the Coast in a sense.
Hasbro has a lot of money to burn if they bought Wizards of the Coast. Then you have Costco Wholesale. Look, it's Costco. We've all shopped at, well, I think most of us have shopped at a Costco. You know that Costco is a different type of store.
Right.
Number 9 is Nintendo, and number 10 is Lego Group. Let's see the rest of them. I'm not looking at the whole thing. I'm just seeing if
Sony is DFL. No.
How about Bethesda? Oops.
Fuck them.
Oh, I'm sorry, but that was a good hit.
Yeah.
You mean Bethesda?
I couldn't resist.
Yep.
Yeah, Bethesda is probably DFL.
I don't think they're on the list. I don't even think they're on the list. To be honest with you, I really don't.
They paused being the runner-up for against EA. I bet he's passing top 50 now.
No, I haven't even. It's like you gotta sign up for some shit, and I don't feel like signing up for anything. But
gosh, why? It's just a top 100 list.
You can look at the past ones, but I don't want to look at the past ones. So, and I don't feel like spending, huge. Like I'm a small business owner, very small business. I don't feel like spending $50 or $60 to find out a list of stuff. That's just me.
Yeah, and on something that you really
I don't care that much about.
Yeah, aren't even planning to do business with some of these companies, anyways.
The only companies I've had to do business with are companies that make arcade machines, and vendors, drink vendors, Budweiser, Miller Busch, Miller Anheuser-Busch, stuff like
You know
that.
what? I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if there was a arcade vendor on that list.
Probably not. I mean, arcade vending is like very niche.
Very niche. Yes.
It's ultra niche. You're not seeing a lot of those every day. Okay, then. So, anyone have anything else they want to add before we wrap things up?
Let's see. Looking for other gaming-related news. Oh yeah, the Nintendo Switch it's only 137K units from overtaking the PS4's lifetime sales in Japan.
Yeah, but we knew it was going
Japan.
to take over Japan. I mean, Nintendo has pretty much owned Japan with each console gen they've had since the Wii. So, I mean, that's not really, that's saying, oh shit, can you believe the rain is wet? No, I can't.
I was about to say the sky is blue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's apparently some fake Joy-Cons that might corrupt your Nintendo Switch.
What?
Wait, fake Joy-Cons?
Yep.
Okay, this is news to me. Because I shouldn't be surprised, and what? I bet those doesn't have a seal of quality on them. But
how comforting.
Okay, it seems that there is another attempt to fool people into buying fake Nintendo Switch Joy-Con controllers, which look very similar to the official one. These controllers aren't obviously fake, but if you use your Joy-Cons frequently, you will be able to easily tell that they aren't official due to its odd shape and differently shaped buttons.
I am wondering where do these people, these consumers buy those fake Joy-Cons?
Here's what these fake Joy-Cons look like. I'll provide a link to it in the group chat.
It's probably China.
Yeah.
When you need some cheap ass shit that looks like, oh yeah, they look fake. Yeah, they're totally fake, and I bet it's from China.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because I would be surprised if those are bought here stateside wide and in a prestigious store. That's not right.
Oh man, that's definitely some China stuff. And I know what some people are going to say. Oh, well. What do you mean? I mean, why would you say it's definitely from China? I'll tell you why I said it's definitely from China. Because typically speaking, when you have some cheap ass shit that's going to fall apart and like after you use it for less than half the time, it's China. Like, and I can say this because back in the day when I was a student and broke, and like I had to pinch every penny till it squealed like a fat pig. I would get like really cheap stuff. Like I remember when my laptop's battery died, and like the name brand, the right brand ones were like $30, and yet there was one from China for $10. And that shit lasted for like a month till it broke down, and I had to break down and buy the real one. Or I had my PS3 controller was dying, so I bought a bootleg Chinese one for like $8.99, and it stopped working after a week and a half.
I feel for you.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you something, man. When you're looking for cheap ass shit that's gonna fall apart in your hands, China.
Yeah.
And I know what some people are gonna say. How can you say that?
I'm sorry. Have you seen what China's been making?
It's China.
Exactly.
Especially something that's has not been curated.
And now for something that's something that's personal for me. So I recently,
Oh.
I recently both my Joy-Cons have recently been having drifting issues, so I had to call Nintendo customer service to fix them. So I had to send my Joy-Cons to the UPS or send them to their headquarters to fix. I apparently found an article that found someone discovering the cause behind these Joy-Con drifting issues.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, has something to do with the contact pads that wear marks on them.
Okay.
The guy who discovered this, named Rain Boppy-thon, believes that the wear marks were created over time by the metal prongs that rub against the soft texture of the pads, and concluded that the wear marks would have caused fluctuations in the XY readings, thus resulting in these drifting issues with the Joy-Cons. And there is no permanent fix to this issue, unless Nintendo were to create a completely new type of Joy-Con with different parts.
No, that reminds me. You think you think this problem would have anything to do with the whole rumored new Switch?
Switch revisions?
Yes.
I mean, all I've heard about the rumors is that there's one that's handheld. It's going to be exclusively handheld, and the other is like a pro version.
I mean, I could see them coming out with a new Joy-Con because they did for the Wii, like a new Wiimote kind of thing. So there definitely will be new Joy-Cons. Like they're definitely going to upgrade the Joy-Con at some time, in the future. As far as the like them coming out with a new I don't know.
The Joy-Con the drifting issues has been messing up my inputs when playing games like Smash Brothers and Splatoon, as well as Mario Tennis Aces. It causes me my ranking because of that.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Well, I mean, they did kind of rush the system out a little bit, so.
A little? Probably that's a bit of an understatement.
Shit happens sometimes. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Oh, to the people who wanted the Wii U die so early, well, there you go. That was your side. Oh crap! What's the word again?
You got what you wanted. Now don't get mad if it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Although that doesn't mean that we're downplaying the complaints. Send the complaints to Nintendo, by all means.
Those complaints are going to get looked at, but wadded up and thrown in the trash.
I thought they used those kinds of complaints for firewood.
Nah, man, they're modern. They don't use firewood.
Meanwhile, former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson is complaining about Nintendo not using him for their recent release of Punch Out for their NES online system.
Because he's a fucking former heavyweight champion. He's former, as in not anymore. I remember watching the HBO fight where he got knocked the fuck out by Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas his ass, and he got knocked the fuck out. So you know what? Fuck him. You don't hear Leon Spinks saying anything, do you? You don't hear Larry Holmes saying anything.
If you're gonna complain, do something about it.
You don't see.
If he wants to,
Lewis saying anything, do you?
I'm about to say this, Mr. Tyson. If you are so angry to complain about not being featured in the Punch Out. Why don't you do this? Call Nintendo. Give them or lend them rights to your likeness, something like that. Make a deal or something.
I have a better idea. Nintendo, make a new Punch Out with the Joy-Con. Could you imagine how fucking awesome a Punch Out game with the HD rumble of a Joy-Con? So like literally when you punch someone, you feel a rumble like and the rumble would be different depending on if you get a clean hit like in a soft spot like their stomach, or if it's like one of those star knockouts, like it would feel different. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I would totally be on board with you. Unfortunately, we're currently living in a society where racial stereotypes are frowned upon.
Hold on, Pinky. Hold on, Pinky. Do I have to remind you of the Punch Out for the Wii? That came out not too long ago. But you know what? To be fair, yes.
I think you could still do it if the stereotypes were, if they were done in caricature and like done well, like you could get away with it. But the thing is like it has to be done well. It can't be insensitive. So it's like they'd have to really focus test it, but I think they could pull it off. I just want more games that use the HD rumble in meaningful ways for the Switch. Like I would love to see a fishing game. What?
I was saying that I could agree on because it means that you'll be able to find out where you're hitting right, where you're hitting wrong, and if you're about to suffer some painful injuries.
Yeah, I would like to see a fishing game. Could you imagine a fishing game where like the Joy-Con is your pole, and like you can't see underwater, but you can feel when the fish is biting at the line?
Isn't there a level game that does that?
I don't know, but I don't have to spend 8 years on cardboard to play it. But yeah, I would love to see a fishing game for the Switch that just uses the Joy-Cons or something like that. That would be fucking awesome. Hell, I would love to play a Legend of Zelda game that had fishing that used the Joy-Cons like that. But with that being said, we've gone a little bit over time, but fuck it.
It happens.
Anyone have anything else they want to bring up before we get to the sign-offs and wrap things up? Dragon, you just popped in. Anything you want to add before we wrap things up?
I guess unexpectedly so for all, a video for the first time, a very long time, a year later, I guess a return, though on a pretty not consistent sort of schedule, just here and there sort of schedule. I have a video up there actually, which I think might kind of be interesting. It's the events or moves that may have something like predicted Nintendo's future, something like that. Forgot the full.
Yeah, I saw it. I actually saw it and shared it on Twitter. It was a good video. What else would I say? But you are not the champion here of people who haven't been on this podcast in a long time. The champion, the winner and champion is Triple M over here.
Man, stop making me blush here.
Yeah, he knocked everybody out with one punch. He is the one punch man of that particular record. But with that being said, thank you for joining. Those of you who watched and didn't leave any comments, why didn't you leave any comments? We like comments from you people. We like to have conversations and stuff like that. But with that being said, that's the end of the podcast.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, thanks for coming to the podcast. Oh shit!
Thanks. Take it away from here.
So, who else wants to give their sign off, pimp out what they want to pimp out, and then we'll wrap things up?
This is Take It Off from Negative Facts, where we talk about facts and opinions from the game of fear. I'm currently a bit busy at the moment with my games, so I'm still brainstorming for my upcoming articles. So I can't promise you when they'll be ready, other than when I'll be posting them in a later time.
All right.
Be delighted to. Yeah, I'll be delighted to read some of those because wow, the one that Sam made a few days ago, harsh but on point.
All right.
Right.
So, who wants to go next?
I think the other boys could take this one from here.
All right, Kenoshi.
Glad to be on another one of these BS Busters. I'm not really planning on doing anything. I'm not planning anything at the moment. Might do a cast next. Well, nah. I think the next cast I'll probably do is like in June after E3.
E3. Okay, who else?
Well, yes, this is Triple M, the co-host of BS Busters, even though I've been really, really lacking this for the past year already. But hopefully I'll do better and be here. But yeah, Triple M here, running out.
All right, I guess I'm the last one. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner prior to BS Busters. Have my old co-host back, and we busted some bullshit, and it was great. With that being said, that's in the podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. You can reach me on Matthew Wesley at Mr. Red Fox 91 at Twitter, or you can reach me on Gmail at Mr. Red Fox BS Buster at gmail.com. Yes, there is an official Gmail for the BS Buster. So that being said, that's in the podcast. Peace. Dragon has a video. You should watch it if you get a chance. It's actually pretty damn good. That being said, good night.